Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with various wind here in Golf Clash the game. Before we have a closer look at all the content in this video, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. That helps the channel immensely. For those of you that do want to take the next step in your game and improve it even more, you can scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link that is in the description down below called patreon.com/golfclashtommy. We there have checkpoint challenge, tour play and tournament guides for everyone. So make sure to check it out and sign up and improve your game today. You can start as low as $3 per 30 days. Info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. Hole number 1 is usually a fairly easy start, I would say. Even if we do have a headwind, we generally have a super simple layup either to long iron or to a short iron, but I think it's more fun when we do get some tailwind because then we can send it. Either we go right or we go left. I would say that if it is a straight tailwind like this, going left should be better. Why? It's because we then have a look at the hole in one. From the right hand side, it's gonna be obviously an hole in one on a par 4 is always a lottery, but from the right it's going to be even more. But it could be a way for those of you that do not feel confident adjusting down over a cliff or something like that, that want to take a different type of route, then this is a nice play in that sense. Max plus 10, then specific push-up depending on wind angle and wind strength, as normal when it comes to send it in Master. And then we're bouncing on the fairway and then into the rough, rolls up onto the green, and now kind of close to an hole in one, but we're settling with an eagle. So in the end, if you have a headwind or a crosswind, we lay up. If we do have a tailwind, then we're gonna send it and hope for the best. It doesn't matter if you play with the rock level 9 or you play with a quarterback here, because we're looking for the 100 in accuracy. The good thing with the rock is that it allows more power, and therefore you can play with power balls that is not like a P3, P4, P5 ball, for an example, that sometimes it becomes with the quarterback as it does have less power. 4.1 backspin and putting the ball guideline slightly short of the hole, adjust mid plus 20. And once we have adjusted, we're going to center the ball in it. Perfect. Obviously, we're going to have to look at the wind angles here. We're going to have different wind angles that will be important to follow if you're going to be consistent with dropping par 3s here in Master Division. Center the ball. Adding the tweaks. And perfect ball it is. We land then into the rough and rolls down the green and dropping dead. No, not really dead center, right? A 360 in the hole or an hole in one. For hole number 6 in Scotland, a 9-hole cup, we're gonna have a headwind here for display. This is going to make this par 5 to be extremely difficult to do anything else than an eagle, and especially from 30, we're playing mainly for eagle always. If we do have a straight tailwind, we could get over the water and we can somewhat find ourselves with a wood club rough bump from there, but that's kind of the best case scenario. Adjust max plus 10 here. My goal is to get myself as far up on the fairway without risking too much, and here I kind of realized that if I'm going max OP, even with all the topspin, the risk of going into the rough or into the sand is very high. So I'm planning to just bounce and roll, trying to get as close to the rough line there at the top without obviously rolling into it. Second shot, now we are so far away and we do have the direct headwind that we have to just lay up. And here you can either lay up for a short iron from min distance or close to it, or you go a little bit higher up and you play with a wedge to attack the pin. This is up to what you prefer. I'm gonna show you a second shot, sorry, a third shot, just for reference as well, once we have taken this second shot. So you can see here that I'm leaving myself a little bit of room from the rough line to the right, because even if I could play closer, we do not want to risk anything here in terms of clipping the rough unnecessarily with a great right or something like that. So now it's just to take it easy and just, again, play it in a realistic way. There will be loads of players trying to still get to green from here, but that will get them into the rough or into the sand, I would say, to almost a 100% certainty. A little bit curl to the right, we bounce on the fairway, we get ourselves up nicely, and now we are in a good position for the third shot. We're gonna have a look at that one just for reference. So here you can either play with a wedge, or you can go for a short iron from min distance, or I mean, there are many different ways to do that. You can see we are just at max club basically, and we could technically have gone for a dunk with our Falcon, but decide to go with a wedge. Try to find a nice consistent spot, as we're looking to just make this wedge as easy as we can. All right, so aim point is fixed. Now we're going to make an adjustment. We're going to center the ball and hit perfect, and we're going to see ourselves having a good chance for an eagle. And I would say if you do have a headwind of tee on this par 5, an eagle is most definitely good enough to consider not a drop, but consider being one up on many of your opponents. In tailwind, we can push it, but it's still very risky pushing it on this par 5, and if you're making mistakes, that will definitely cost you a shot on this hole. On hole number 4, this is going to be a very good chance for an hole-in-one using 1.9 backspin and 1 left spin. Moving up with our club here now to look at the ball guideline mainly. You can see here that I'm using the ball guideline to be left of the pin, top of the yellow ring by the rough line as well. We do make the adjustment here now. That's going to be with a 10% elevation. Have in mind that the min, mid, max type of thingy is going to change depending on what type of wind direction you do have here. In a tailwind, we do recommend to play with at least a power 0, not at least, but with a power 0 or power 1 ball. Otherwise, there is a risk for you to pull in between clubs. If you do have a crosswind or a headwind, it doesn't really matter what ball you're playing with, if it is a P3 or P4, for an example. Perfect ball it is. Bounces into the rough and rolls up onto the green, and we're dropping nicely dead center for the hole-in-one. Take your game to the next level with our Ultimate Tournament text guide for Expert and a Master Division for the 7th anniversary tournament. It's honestly unbelievable that we have been playing this game for so long, but we keep on making guides, keep on improving players play, and having fun in the game. Scan the QR code here on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link in the description down below. Have in mind that you can play with free-to-play balls and paid balls and follow our guides and get some success. In my opinion, having a guide makes you save money, because it will take away the need of doing those extra practices, spending those extra ball, and spending that extra time that they otherwise have to do to be competitive and get to the weekend round. So once again, get to the weekend round in an easy way and compete for the top spots with our Ultimate Tournament text guide. Scan the QR code or use the link in the description down below. On hole number 5, if we do have a headwind, we unfortunately going to have to lay up. That is not something that I do want to do on this hole. I want to send it, but you can only send it here if you do have a crosswind or you do have a tailwind. Now with topspin boost balls being available, a load of them, then I see no reason to do anything else than sending it if we do have a crosswind or a tailwind. It possibly that it could be go with a big boy topspin boost ball in a headwind too. It's untested from my end, but something to be worth having in mind, because obviously reaching over the other side of the fairway is going to be so much better than having to lay up. But
We do lay up here in the video, max plus 10 on the adjustment, and then we center the ball, and the intention is to obviously hit perfect. On the second shot that we are going to be going to prepare, we're going to play our thorn. We're going to play a lot of backspin here in the second shot, and therefore the elevation here on the video is not really going to align with what we do have on the website. And the reason for that is that when we're doing a backspin shot here, always when we do a lot of backspin, it's going to require a lot more adjustment than what we otherwise would need to do if we do have like a standard bounce up play or something like that. But the beauty with using a lot of backspin here is to allow ourselves to actually aim on the green. And that will leave for a much more consistent first bounce and much more consistent result in the long run on this par 4, especially if you do once again have to lay up. 20% elevation, and it's gonna be, when we are close to max club, it's going to be max club numbers as well. A P4 ball here is going to pull very close to max line, where a P5 ball will give you a little bit more room. But again, this is the worst case scenario that we have to lay up, where we otherwise would love to send it. But if we do lay up and we do make a proper adjustment on the approach, we can definitely lock in this eagle from distance.
For hole number 3, we have another par 4 here in the Scotland 9-hole cup. Unfortunately, when we do have a headwind, we're going to have to lay up, and that's the same kind of with crosswind as well. We could get around when it comes to crosswind angles to do some sort of a, what will it be, a power hook using topspin boost ball and stuff like that, but generally fairly risky in that. But in tailwind, it's a no-brainer, then we're going to send it here. We adjust max plus 10, and then we're going to apply a specific amount of topspin to get the ball to where we want. We're looking for consistency here with the drive, which is difficult on a bumpy fairway, whereof there will be scenarios where it's maybe even better to lay up even shorter than this. We're looking now to play a long iron to the pin, and we're looking to play a rough bump. Y'all know me when it comes to rough bump. I really love rough bumps. And the reason I do that is due to the fact that after the first bounce, the wind will not have that much of an effect. Where of bouncing on a fairway, it's most definitely going to have a pretty big effect instead. So now I'm looking to have the ball guideline through the hole just slightly. This due to the headwind that we're having, or not slightly, we're having the ball guideline pretty heavily through the hole here. And we are also aiming way left. Why do we aim left? It's because the ball, when it hits the ground, is going to be pushed pretty heavily right. And especially with a headwind, that's going to compress the ball guidelines, going to make the ball go even more right. So therefore, we cannot aim directly at the pin with this type of spin setup. No elevation, and then here we're close to min club. And you can see we bounce into the rough, rolls up onto the green, dropping dead center for a beautiful eagle here on hole number 3 in the Scotland 9-hole cup. Again, tailwind, we're going to send it. Crosswind or headwind, we're going to have to lay up. In crosswind, could be sometimes we could maybe send it with a topspin boost ball, but in general, it's going to be a layup.
For hole number 7, this is a video with a replay glitch, and therefore you're not really gonna see the ball guideline as it should be, because I'm starting with a sniper and I'm starting a P3 max rest, and therefore you will see here when I do adjust, it jumps back to the sniper just in a little bit. This is a recording that was recorded well before the replay pool got updated with proper type of replays. Max plus 20 though, as you can see here, I'm not playing with any spins whatsoever with this type of play. And I enjoy those type of plays. Like if we don't have to set any spins, that's definitely something that is helpful for us when we do attack the pin. Perfect ball it is. And we bounce on the fairway, it goes over the water and rough, and we are rolling, dropping nicely for an hole-in-one. I have to say on this one here though, it's like if you do not feel confident by bouncing over the water and the rough, you can always go for a rough bump that is above the water and rough. That will however not be possible if you do have a headwind, because then that will be too far up in your max club range.
For hole number 5 in the Scotland 9-hole Cup, we're gonna send it here if we do have a tailwind. If we do have a headwind or a crosswind, we are going to lay up. But again, I want to display the tailwind because that's the fun wind angle. Aiming way out to the left here, and the reason we're doing that is because we do want to come in with an angle, meaning that we're going to use a lot of curl to push the ball back in right, because the pin is standing more to the right, and using, in this case, all of the curl is not going to be enough. So we're using a slice here. You can see we land on the fairway. We're then using specific spins to ensure that we are not going too long or too short. But obviously when it is with send-it shot, especially hooks and slice, then it's going to be difficult to control the outcome all the time because it is generally inconsistent. The adjustment here on the drive in general is max plus 10. If you are playing a layup on the second shot, you play no elevation and true club distance, and then you're gonna get yourself close, if not in the hole, if you do have to lay up. But hole 5, hopefully we do have some tailwind so we can send it. For hole number 8, the drive, and now we do have a tailwind, and then we do have a decision to make. Either we can try to play super aggressive, trying to get some distance on the fairway that is more to the left, but obviously then we will risk water. Or we're playing like the standard way of doing, which is to bounce over that little part of water and rough to just land nicely on the fairway. But if we do that, then it's gonna be purely an eagle. So, but in the end, though, this is such a difficult par 5 where taking too much of a risk will often you will often make a mess of everything. That's why I prefer to play this one a bit more conservative, just to make sure that I'm getting the eagle, as even if you were making a very aggressive drive and make that absolutely spot on, it's still super difficult to get the albatross from distance. So adjust max plus 15 here. I'm doing a max OP slow needle play to gain some extra distance to land nicely over on the fairway. Now we're gonna have the 2 left spins added, and as you can see, I'm playing with a luminary. You can play this with whatever P5 ball you may possess, like a regular circ if you would like. Now I'm just aiming somewhat onto the green. As you can see there, that the pin stands so far left that pushing to attack the pin here from distance is gonna most likely get yourself into the rough or into the sand in most of the cases. Adjust max no elevation. I'm using on curl to push the ball back left, and here ending up on the fringe or on the green or on the fairway for a simple eagle. Kind of a boring par 5, but I mean, there will be players just getting a birdie on this one, then an eagle is definitely one up on those opponents. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough with Various Win for Master Division, with Various Win for the 7th anniversary tournament here in Golf Clash the Game. Scan the QR code here on the screen or go directly via the link that is in the description down below, patreon.com/golfclashtommy, and sign up for our Ultimate Tournament X guides or the exclusive Tour Shootout guides or our Checkpoint Challenge guides. You can bundle it together as well if you want. Last but not least, thank you so much for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.